Park Bowie from freetheapps.com on the show because, I mean, this is a show where I'm bringing on somebody because I personally want to learn from them, from their experience in regards to how himself and his partner have been able to basically build apps, and outsource the apps that they've built. And so I have him on the show specifically to talk on that subject. And today, Quack, before we get started, I would love for you to introduce yourself to the audience and what exactly do you do?
Hi, thanks for having me, Owen. My name is Quack Bowie, and I've been in this app business for almost 2 years now. So how we got started was me and my best friend, Michael Moon. We've been best friends since like 7th grade. We just saw that the app market was pretty fresh and new, and we were reading stories about a couple apps that are doing really well for themselves, like very simple apps like iFart, games like iShoot, and they were posting their numbers, and they were making a good amount of money. And we thought, why can't we get into the business as well? We were both software engineers, but we decided against developing it ourselves. So we decided to outsource.
I'm curious though, like you guys had software engineering experience, but just decided to outsource. Like, why at that point did you feel that maybe it wasn't a good idea for you to handle the
Part of it was just being a little lazy, but I mean most of it was we would have had to learn a new language, Objective-C, and it's not too hard to jump around from language to language. It's pretty much the same, but there's like little quirks like. We probably would have run into bugs here and there. We wouldn't have been able to build a quality application like as fast as we did if we were to outsource to professionals. So, I mean, within the past 2 years, we've been able to release over 20 applications.
Wow.
But if we had done that ourselves, we would have had, at most, like 3,
Definitely.
So,
I totally understand. And the thing is, I'm telling people based on the fact that the core focus on this interview is kind of like, how can someone an entrepreneur that has an idea, possibly doesn't even have experience, programming, how can they actually build an app? And before we even get started, is this something where they definitely have to have an experience in programming, or do you think this is something that entrepreneurs with the idea can just come in and get started?
No, definitely not. I mean, we didn't program a single line of code. So I don't think you don't need any programming experience to do what we did. Just because we didn't program at all. We just took our idea, we outsourced development of the application, we outsourced all the graphic design, from the website design to the application design. We outsourced pretty much all aspects of it. We just took on the role of project manager, setting up CEO, setting up the business, and managing the projects. I mean, anybody who can use email can manage the projects.
Okay, so the very first app you guys created, how exactly did you guys come across the idea in the first place?
So the first app we created together was called Crop for Free. So it's just a very basic application allowing users to crop their images. We were looking at that time, we were playing with the iPhone, and when you take a picture, sometimes you take something where you want to crop somebody out or something out. Your picture's not perfect. And the iPhone didn't have the ability to do that. And there were a couple cropping applications out, but they were all paid. So we wanted to make something free that wasn't just like a light version of an app. That was a fully functional application for users. And at the same time, we put ads on there to make some ad revenue ourselves.
Definitely. And so, I mean, the idea of making it free, because some people might say, oh, you know what, they maybe explore kind of the revenue angles for when you're building an app, because there's free, I'm sure there's paid, so let's kind of dive into that for a minute.
Okay, so basically with free applications, there's a lot of ad networks out there. Like Google is one of them. There's been a lot of it's like the biggest up and coming thing right now, especially with all the acquisitions and mergers. So first of all, you had your AdWorld. AdMob bought AdWorld, and Google buys AdMob, and then Apple buys Quattro, and turns that into iAd. So you know that with these big companies, that's where it is, advertising on the mobile market. So there's a lot of room for growth for that, and a lot of money to be made with advertisements.
So there's the way to monetize the app by, you know, having ads being placed on the free app, I guess, and then I guess maybe there's another way also, which would be if the app was that they actually paying for the app before, you know, from the very beginning. Is that the case?
Yes, yes. You can make your app paid as well. You can choose however much you want. So 99 cents, $1.99, $2.99, $99. So it's up to you how to price your app or make it free.
I've also seen several apps where, besides we've talked about the free apps where you make money via ads, and also the ads where the apps where they pay upfront, maybe $1.99 whatever fee to buy the app. I've also seen apps where there is a subscription plan attached to it, where every month they keep paying a subscription.
Yeah, I've seen those too. In like medical applications, they have that where you have to pay like a yearly fee, and that's I think they give you like a login, and so it's more like that's more kind of web based to activate the application.
Okay.
They have a login subscription fee to activate all the features of the application. There's also another model where which is in-app purchasing.
In-app, what was that? I've never heard of that.
In-app purchasing, where let's say for a game, you can buy a game that has like 10 levels, and they also have additional levels that you can buy. Like, so you bought the game 99 cents, you can get 10 levels, and then inside the application they have, oh, you want to buy 5 more levels, it's 99 cents.
Wow.
And you can buy that directly inside the application.
I like that. So it's kind of like, you know, you're buying the content that you want to get access to within the app itself. I didn't even know that even existed. And so
Exactly.
now we've exposed the, you know, people listening to this and myself to the different revenue streams if you get into this whole app, you know, mobile app creation business. But then there's a need for one to be able to validate that the idea that you have, there's even a demand for it, there's a market for it in the first place. So tell us, how exactly does one go about doing that to validate that that app, you know, is worth even investing the time to in the first place?
One of the things we do is we do look at the market, check out the top 100 lists in each category, and see what's popular. You know, you can get a feel of what people like, what people are downloading, utilities that they're looking for, and that's one way to do it, just to check out the market, see what the trends are.
So you check the trend, but then another thing too is, are we looking like you know, the apps that are most downloaded within that category of where you think your app is going to be? Is it keyword research involved with that, or I'm trying to, you know, try and see if we can dig in a little bit to see, you know, is it just only the stats as to how many apps within that category that you're trying to build has been downloaded, or is there any other ways to decipher if that app is worth investing in?
Well, you can't really see what other people's apps, the numbers. You can't really see how many downloads other people's apps have, but you can see how they're ranked.
Oh, the reviews,
so you can go.
Okay.
Yeah, so just how they're ranked. Well, how they're ranked tells you how many downloads they have. Kind of. The more downloads they have, the higher their rank will be. So if they're like the number one in their category, they're the most downloaded in that category. And we do that, and we look, and we see either what's missing.
Okay.
Like, what's missing from this list? What could be improved upon? Just different things like that.
Okay. So basically, you're looking at that app and trying to figure out, okay, what's missing. But then, is it not going to be a thing where, you know, I've seen people say, oh, you just want to get an app there, don't rely too much on trying to make it too feature rich. Maybe so you're not competing with another app based on features. So if you're saying what's missing on that one, wouldn't that basically be trying to add more features to yours so yours is better than that? I'm trying to figure out how you find.
Oh, no. I meant like what's missing in the App Store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So not basically the features of the app, and that's a good thing too. Is, I mean, you're going on there looking at apps that you that are maybe similar to the category that you're trying to build. What if you find, you know, apps that do exactly the same thing you're trying to build? Would it be something worth even going into in the first place, or do we only want to focus on apps that no one has created yet?
I think either way, it just depends, you know. The thing with the app, there's just so many applications out there. There's over like 300 something thousand now, that sometimes it's really hit or miss. You don't know if it's going to do well or not, so you're just going to have to try it out. We've had success with brand new apps that don't have nobody's had before, and we've had apps that mimic other applications. You know.
Definitely, definitely. So I mean, it's just go in there, try it. I guess iterate and iterate until you get that thing that works. And so now we've decided we want to go in and create an app, specific app. In regards to the idea, getting into the nitty gritty of what that app is going to do. How does one go ahead brainstorm? I mean, you have the overall idea of that app, but now you want to talk about what this app is, the functionality of this app. So I guess the brainstorming part. How does one go about doing that?
The easiest way for us is just to start getting it down on paper. So you draw out the screens of the application. It's like starting from the home screen, whatever buttons you want, and then you make a wireframe. So this button will lead you to this screen. So you draw out each individual screen. Sometimes I draw it with pencil and paper. Sometimes I put it on the computer. And that wireframe allows you to give to your developer and your graphic artist, and it makes it a lot easier for them to get the idea in the head.
So now you're taking the idea and you're actually taking the time to draw up wireframes and mapping them as to this is the first screen, this is what this button does, and you're taking down them through the process, and then I guess you can hand that over to the designer or the programmer, and then they can do the magic basically to make it work. And what tools would you use recommend for doing such wireframing and brainstorming of the app?
The easiest I found, the fastest and quickest, is just pencil and paper. I just use pencil and paper. I draw. It's very crude. I'm not an artist or anything. So I draw it out. I take my phone. I take a picture of it, and then I upload it online. And to me, that's been the easiest and fastest way.
Wow, I like that. I mean, because I was thinking that there'd probably be some fancy wireframing tool that you would use or whatever. You should say make it as simple as possible. Draw the thing out and take a picture and hand off to the next person who's going to handle it. Wow. That's
actually my favorite way. I used to use Photoshop, and that took a long time to make a wireframe. But it's supposed to be very crude. The buttons are boxes, and it took a while to do. So why not just draw it out? It's just a lot faster, and you can make changes a lot easier on paper than trying to fiddle with Photoshop and making these boxes and lines and arrows when you can do it in a few seconds with just pencil and paper.
Yeah, I see that point too, because trying to use those wireframing tools, you're gonna have to learn the technology of how to use it in the first place. But I mean, no one teaches you how to draw a piece on a piece of paper and take a picture and send.
Yeah,
I see that. I like that idea. And also now, you've got the idea. You brainstorm on the functionalities. You've taken the time to have your wireframes all drawn out. Now is the point of actually going out to find the right members of your team, right? So to build the app, what are the key members from your perspective should one be going out to look for in the first place?
For us, there's only two key teams that we need. The first one would be the graphic design.
Okay.
So the graphic designers take care of anything from the user interface to the icon to splash screen, everything graphical with it. And the wireframe helps out a lot because they see where the buttons are, what the buttons need to be, which buttons they need, how the user interface should work. So you give them the wireframe, and they create everything for you. You give them the idea of the application, and they'll create your icon as well.
Definitely.
So that's one, and the other one is just to find the developer who can do the development of the project.
Okay, and the developer is one who's actually building the actual engine and algorithms and all that drives the app, and the designer is the one who's making it beautiful, basically.
Yes.
The look and feel of the app. I get that. And so those are the two key people that you need to find. And I mean, the thing now is we're looking from the perspective of someone who doesn't have any experience programming, for instance, or maybe have very little experience with any programming language. And they're going to go find that person or the two people that to their team that can help them with that. First of all, where are the places that you think are a good place to start looking for the right members of the team?
One of our favorite places to find graphic designers is 99 Designs.
Okay.
So on 99 Designs, you create a contest. Say, I want my application built. This is what my application does. It's a cropping application. I need an icon, I need a splash screen, etc. And all these different designers will come and they'll create a design and they'll post it on there. So it's kind of like a contest to win your bid, right? So the cool thing about that is you get multiple designs from multiple graphic designers, graphic artists, and then you can rate them and give them comments like, oh, I like this guy's, I like how you went this way, and then everybody would change theirs according to your comments. And so so basically you'll have like 5 to 10, maybe 15 people working on your design at the same time, and at the end of the contest, like 7 days, 5 days, you pick your favorite one and you award that person the money.
So that's kind of like you're basically crowdsourcing the person that would help you for the design, I guess.
Yes.
And is it not a worry that, you know, by doing such a thing in such an open forum like what's it called? What's the name of the place again? 99 Designs, right? So I'm assuming you put out the request for the designer on there, and it's an open forum where everybody can see what you're looking for. Is there not a worry that, you know, the idea might be stolen? Can you hear me?
No. Yes. Can you hear me?
No, I think with Skype, you know, with Skype sometimes we have this. The connection went down. But can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I hear you.
Because I'm gonna have to edit this, but so far I'm liking what the interview. So back to the question now. It's basically you put in the idea on the website like 99 Designs, and it's an open forum where people are coming in to see and help you with building the design of what you want the app, right? Is there not a fear that your idea is going to be stolen? Because in order for them to design, I guess you have to share with them certain things about the app.
Mm-hmm.
So how does one work around that?
Mm-hmm. That's a very common question that we get. But no, we don't have on 99 Designs. Most of them are just graphic artists looking to do some graphical work. We're not really afraid of them stealing our ideas. And at the same time, an idea is just an idea. If you don't implement it, if you don't do anything about it, you know, it's no good, right?
Definitely, and I like the fact that you made that point. Is that it's an idea, but no, until someone actually takes action to it, then you know it's just an idea. So what's the fear to go out there and look for the right person to help you with? So you shared with us an insight on how to find a designer, 99 Designs, for instance. Now, what of the program and the person that actually builds the engine for the tool? How do you go about finding that person? Where do you go in the first place?
We usually use Elance, so we go on elance.com, and there's a lot of professionals on there. There's a lot of good programmers on there. We've had some bad experiences as well. So you just have to be careful who you pick. Don't always pick the first person who gives you a bid. Just wait, get a couple bids, and look at their past experiences as well. Yeah. We like to look for people who have done similar type projects. So if we're making a photography application, developers that have worked on other photography applications, that's a big plus.
Okay. So so you whatever your app idea is, you're looking for someone who has a conformable portfolio record of, hey, I have done this specific type of app, so hopefully they will have the idea of how to take that information or the way they build that app to build yours because they've done something similar. But does one run into a situation where you have an idea that you want to build, but you can't find someone in one of those websites that has done something similar in the past? What do you do then?
We've had maybe like one or two that were not more difficult, but just very specific, and we didn't find too many people who were able to do it. We ended up outsourcing to this one guy who said he did a good job. So it's just sometimes with those apps you get less bids, but there's always somebody who can do. I've heard once that with programming anything is possible, but there will always be somebody who can do what you need done.
Definitely, and with someone without programming experience, I mean, I'm really trying to find out, what would be those key things to look for when you're trying to find, the design, and not the designer now, but the programmer who's going to actually build using a specific language for your app. I mean, what are the things to look for? Because how can someone who doesn't know how to program judge someone who's a programmer? That's the thing that's kind of a little bit mind-boggling for me.
Well, that's where you look at their past application, their portfolio. They'll have a portfolio of applications they've built in the past. That is one. You can go and download this application and see how it runs. See how polished it is. We look at their feedback on the too.
Yeah, I lost the signal. I lost the signal for a minute. What were you saying?
I said we also look at their feedback on Elance.
Okay.
So what other people have said about them, and also another big thing is Elance has repeat customers.
Oh.
It'll show how many repeat customers they've had, which is very important because if I like the developer, I'll go back to them again.
Definitely.
So that's a big show in whether the developer did good for their client or not is if they've had repeat customers.
So go ahead. Go ahead. I wanted to ask a different question, but go ahead. Do you have something else to add?
Yeah, and also for pricing, if it's your first time, you're not going to really know how much you should be paying for your application, right? But with Elance, you'll get the whole range of bids. You'll get bids like ridiculously high.
The volume, sorry, we're having issues with Skype, but the volume went down on me a little bit. What was
it's
that
okay.
again?
I was talking about the bid prices for your projects.
Yeah.
So as a first-time outsourcing, you're not going to know how much your app should cost.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about Elance. You'll get a whole range of bids from really, really high to really, really low. And with that, you can kind of average the price, and you'll get a lot of the in-betweens. So you'll see how much it's nice to see, and then you can kind of give yourself a range from those numbers.
So I guess the idea would be when you're trying to place a bid, a project for programmers is really not. Will it be not to put a price range that you're looking at? Just put the idea there and see what comes in. And
yeah. Depending on how simple or complicated it is, we tend to stick with very simple applications.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to have tons and tons of features. That's what we found on the mobile applications. People just want an app to do like one or two things.
Yeah.
And they just have so many.
And that makes sense too, because I mean it's a phone. There's only so much you can do with a phone. All this is just additional functionalities of the phone. So the phone is not a computer. So when you're making an app, I'm thinking you got to make sure you put the bare bones skeleton functionalities in there, and anything that doesn't need to be in there, take it out. So it has to be real easy for them to use from their phone.
Exactly. It makes it easier for them to use, and it's also easy to develop as well.
Definitely. And I'm also curious as to, because I'm thinking from that point is that when you're looking for the programmers, you look at if they've done something that's similar to your project, that they can maybe borrow some ideas from in regards to implementing yours, looking at their feedback to see, what other people have said about them. And there was one point you made I didn't really get it because the Skype went down on us. You said something about return people that have come back to them. What is that?
Oh, repeat customers. Elance lists how many times they've had repeat customers. So if I'm working with a developer and I like them a lot, I'm going to return and have them create another project for me. And Elance will keep track of that. They'll know if they've had repeat customers. That's really important too.
Definitely. And now, say for instance, now we now have all these people come in and you, for one reason or another, been able to choose both the designer and choose the programmer. Now it comes to working with the people you choose. How does that go? I mean, I guess this is all virtual, for instance, but how do you now, as the person without programming experience or designing experience, now manage these people?
We do everything through email.
Email?
So,
wow.
We do most, I've only Skyped with our developers like once or twice we've had Skype. But most of the time email does the trick. It does everything you need. They email us progress, and then they can send us a build of the application. which we install on our device, our phone or iPod, and we check it out and we give them feedback, and they go back and they fix what you need fixed, and until it's done.
So I'm taking it as that you take it bit by bit. You fix something little with the project, you verify that works, move to the next step. They keep iterating until you eventually have the full product ready for launch. I guess is that what I'm getting from that?
Yeah, usually for projects we set up different milestones.
Okay.
So like milestone 1, get this 1, 2, 3 functionality done. And milestone 2 would be the next half, and then we pay them. That's how we set up the payment schedule too.
Oh, okay.
So
that's nice. So every milestone they get paid for the results that they deliver. I guess I read something like that. Is that not the agile programming thing? Is that what that is?
Yeah, agile is based on. I think agile is also based on different. You do your project little by little at a time. You break it up.
Definitely. And you know what? I was thinking that the whole process of managing these people will be so complicated. Maybe even using some kind of management tool or something like that. And you're saying keep it simple, use emails, back and forth. That just gets the point.
Yeah. Some of our developers have a forum, like a forum where they keep track of all their projects, but it just comes down to replies back and forth. So it's the same. Some of it's email, some of it's in a forum, but it's pretty much just back and forth replies. So email usually does the trick.
Wow, I like your method. It seems that you guys attempt to keep it very, very simple, and I like what I've been hearing so far. And when it comes to building the app, you're going through the process of going through that iteration with yourself, the designer and programmer, and building step by step. I'm also thinking like you have an idea of what the app is going to do, but you also on this other side of the room you have the users who are eventually going to use the app. Is there a way even before you launch the product? Is there a way in which you seek feedback from the user so that you can get some feedback from them to be able to build the app even before launch? Do you do something like that or no?
No, we don't really do anything like that. We've used our friends. I mean, we've shown them our app on our device, like beta stages, and see what they think, see what they like about it. But we haven't gone as far as trying to get other users to preview it.
I'm just surprised. I'm curious as to why that is not done. I'm trying to learn as to why you're not doing that, because I was thinking that you might as well just try and get as much feedback from people who at the end of the day use this stuff, so that you can embed those attributes or functionalities into it before they launch it, and so they can easily buy it. But you're saying you don't do it that way.
No, we don't do it that way. I have heard of some companies who do that, to send out preview samples of the application.
Yeah. Or
like review sites and stuff like that. But we haven't really taken advantage of that.
Okay.
Like you said, we try to keep things as simple as we can.
I'm telling you, I am. You can see the excitement on my face. I'm like, I'm trying to make this thing more complex than it should, and you're saying you don't even need all that stuff. So I'm based on what you just said, I'm thinking more like you get this thing out there to market and let them tell you whether it sucks or doesn't suck, and you can build from the feedback when it's in the market. Is that the sense of what I'm getting from what you just said?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. And not only that, we try to bring out as many applications as we can too. So
why is that? Like, why not have one, core focus or maybe one or two apps? Why that continuous bringing out mentality or process?
Because just with the app lifecycle, we feel that it's such a fast-paced market.
Yeah.
That an application that was popular 3 months ago might not be popular today, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, instead of putting all our eggs in one basket, we have a team. We continuously keep track of our old apps and update them when needed if there's a problem. But at the same time, we're always working on new applications. Kind of just to diversify.
Oh, I like that. So basically, when one maybe loses popularity, for instance, well, you have another thing there that is still working, and a couple other ones, and it's just basically building that basket or nest egg of apps, and I guess
exactly
continuously improving on them as you get that feedback, as you need to. And during this process of trying to build the app, is there any methods that you guys use towards testing the apps? Am I missing something there when it comes to testing?
No, I mean, when they send us the application, we try to go through all the functionality we can. We don't have any specific like QA methods set up for them. By keeping the app simple as we can, it helps with the whole QA process.
Wow.
Yeah, so we don't have tons of functionality to sit there and go through every time we get a new iteration or anything.
Wow, I like that. So let's now jump to the point where the app is ready. When the app is ready and designer and programmer says this app is ready, what next? What do you do at that point?
Then you get the code and you have to build a package that you send off to Apple. So you submit it to Apple. You upload it to the Apple server with your description. You have to come up with a description, screenshots, icon. You upload all that information, and then you wait for Apple to approve your application, which usually takes between 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah. And we've seen some developers that the whole application submission process and building it, that can be kind of technically challenging. Okay. I mean, it's not too bad. It's just walking through steps, right? But there are some developers that will do that for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But if
they'll submit your application for you.
But if they do that for you, I mean, is there no inherent risk of having them submit that for you? Because I've seen on some apps where you see the name of the company who's responsible for the app, right? But then the people they also put the people who designed the app in there as, I guess, the people to talk to in regards to feedback or whatever, as opposed to it being the person who's responsible, the person who puts out the app is the person who you come back for feedback and all that. Do you understand the question I'm saying? Because I've seen...
Yeah, I understand. No, so basically you yourself, you would set up the Apple account, and then you could set up different users, like a technical user. So the technical user, all they can do is go on and upload the application and just do technical stuff like that. They can't access your account information or money or anything like that. So so they would just sign on. So it's your account. They would sign on under your name, under your username that you created, and then they just upload your application for you. Wow. That's just to save you the process. That's just to save you the process of having to create and make your own build.
Definitely, and it's kind of like, you even the end process where you're turning that in, you're also outsourcing that point. You just go in there, create their account, like you said, and they go in there and do the rest. And also, it also helps with branding, where people are looking at the app and seeing who's responsible for it. It still shows you anyways, and not some third-party company that made the app for you.
Exactly.
I like that. And is there any kind of challenges that one usually faces when it comes to getting the app approved?
Yeah, Apple has a list of rules that you need to follow. So it's just to help the users. So let's say if there's a button in your application that doesn't work, it doesn't do anything, you click it and it doesn't do anything, Apple will deny that, like 99% of the time. So just make sure your application works as it should be. There's you can't have like adult content, stuff like that. Yeah, just as long as your application works and things don't crash. Yeah. If your app crashes, then Apple will reject that and say, fix this. So basically, they'll come back to you and say, we couldn't approve your application because this button doesn't work, or this causes the application to crash, and that's bad for users. Yeah.
So I guess that's the thing where you just go back, fix whatever the issues were, and just resubmit again, and then they go through that process of approving. Or is it once they disapprove it, you can never come back? Or
oh no, you just resubmit, and then they'll go back and check it again. It's kind of like their own quality assurance.
I totally understand. And so I guess one of the things we didn't really go into was the language or the programming language, because the whole idea was kind of like, someone who is doesn't have programming experience or little or no experience, and you're going out there to find the experts to help you with it. But from your own experience now, having a team of people help you, what kind of programming languages do you guys kind of favor when it comes to building mobile apps?
Well, for Apple, I think you have to use Objective C.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, there's a library called MonoTouch, I think, that allows you to build iPhone applications in C#
Okay.
and .NET. So there's that too, but I don't have much experience with that.
Okay, so is it safe to assume that each of the mobile platforms that you're trying to get into, they have their specific language in which the app should be built upon or built with?
Oh yeah. So iPhone has Objective C. Google, Android has their own, and Windows 7 phones also have their own separate one too.
Okay, and that even brings us to a different, segue, because, I mean, so far we've been talking about the Apple, app environment, but I mean, it's like you turn on your, your TV, you see one new ad for a new mobile phone. It says like they keep building new platforms, and being someone that will want to build one app that you can spread on several different platforms. What other platforms are there besides the Apple one?
There's the Android market, so for all the Google phones. There's Windows 7 that just released.
Okay.
They have their own marketplace as well, where you can sell your applications. And I think the BlackBerry has one too. And I heard Palm was working on one. I don't know if that's out yet.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
but I mean, everybody wants a piece of the pie because Apple's created something really good for developers, for users. We primarily focus on iPhone just because that's the biggest market right now.
Okay.
But analysts they predict that I think by next year that Google devices will overtake the mobile market. So that's something else to look into as well.
Definitely. And so when you have the app itself submitted and it's been approved, I'm also thinking that there's some other work you have to do on the back end to promote this app and get it basically for users to want to use it in the first place. What kind of steps you take for that?
We use everything from Twitter to Facebook. We go on app review sites to try to get them to review our applications. And a lot of it just has to do with growth inside the market itself, inside the app store itself. A lot of people come just directly through the app store to search for your app, and hopefully you get a lot of downloads when you're in the new releases. And then if you can make it to the top 100 of your respective category, and it builds from there.
And with all your marketing efforts for after you've launched the app, which ones so far you think you get the best bang for the buck?
It's hard to tell because we do it all at once. Go out to reviewers, Facebook, Twitter. So we do whatever we can.
And
a lot of times that's the hardest is marketing the application. A lot of people put their apps out there, and we put our apps out there, and we don't get a lot of downloads for certain apps, and it could be really discouraging. But you just gotta keep going, try out another application.
Definitely. And one last question before I even let you go is in regards to you put the app out there, you've done the measuring, you've done the marketing. In regards to trying to keep track of what's working and what's not working, and also trying to iterate and build upon maybe requests that you're getting from feedback and all that. What happens at this point? Because I think this is the point where it involves the continuity of the product, right? You've launched the app, it's out there, and you want to basically iterate and build and make it better as you go over time. So, what key points can we look for in that respect?
So you have to look at your the good reviews are nice, but it's the negative reviews. You have to see why, what's going on. Sometimes you could have a bug that you don't know about, crash you don't know about, and you just have to go back and you have to fix those. Or see users might be confused with certain stuff of your application. And it could be as simple as just going back and putting a pop-up in the application that helps users to use your application. So just go through and see what users like, what they don't like, and try to fix what they don't like to increase your ratings.
Definitely. And is there any kind of means in which one can monitor the reviews that come up? For instance, with Apple now, I know that if you go download the app, at the very bottom you always see the the stars that say the review, and you click the button. The person trying to download, can read the reviews of this app. But the person who creates the app, how does that work for you to basically automatically get all those reviews coming to you so that you can monitor what's going on and make improvements?
No, I think you just go on to the App Store and you have to look at the reviews that way.
Oh, wow! It's a manual process at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an idea for an app. Okay, so I mean, Clark, it's been wonderful to have you on the show. I mean, you've been giving so much content to the audience, and I mean, I'm learning myself and trying to figure out how I'm going to go out there and build an app for myself. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. And just for any entrepreneur who has that mindset that I'm go into the mobile app market, what's that thing that you want to live with them to encourage them to take that that leap?
I'd say a lot of people have ideas. We hear about a lot of people have ideas, but just go out there and make it happen. So just take the first step and create your first app. And you'll find that once you start your first project, you finish your first project, if it does well, it doesn't do well, it motivates you. You've learned the process, and now you can go on to create another project. And that's why we say you should try to keep it as simple as you can, especially for your first one. It's just to learn the process, how to outsource, how to submit your application. And once you have that down, your other ideas will come easy.
Wow, definitely. And just so the audience know, I know that you have a ebook that goes into some more details as to the whole process. And how can they even get a hold of that?
You can find it through our website. So just go on freetheapps.com, and there will be a link on the front page of our website.
Thank you very much. And just in case people want to get a hold of you, how best can they contact you?
We have a contact section on our website, so we read the emails.
Definitely. So everyone you hear, you want to get a hold of Quack, go to freetheapps.com and you can get a hold of him. Thank you very much for doing the interview.
All right, thank you for having me on.
So we're done. What do you think?
Great.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed today's interview. And before you go, I want you to do me a favor. I'm trying to build my community of entrepreneurs who find my content useful on Facebook, so we can engage, have discussions live right there on Facebook. And to get to my page on Facebook, you go to www.facebook.com/HYVASSISTANT. And again, it's www.com. What am I saying? No, it's www.facebook.com/HYVASSISTANT. And when you get there, what you're going to do is look for the a button that says like, and you click on that button, and then basically you become a fan of the page. It's that simple. You don't even have to leave me your email. Just click on the button that says like. And again, the page to go to is www.facebook.com/HYVASSISTANT. And that stands for HYVAssistant. Real easy. I look forward to seeing you on Facebook. Have a great day.